gaining quite a bit of momentum in the Western Pacific and in a relatively small window of time. Keep in mind that Infa became the 27th tropical storm of the season. It's going to continue to intensify as it passes to the south of Guam over the weekend. So they could
landed on driveways, cars, and porches in Harrison Township. Paul Schluto came home to find this black stuff splattered all over his property. He says he can't seem to get an answer from anyone.
You feel almost like a lost cause.
But this afternoon, fire officials came out to collect samples of the mystery substance. It's been found on another 5 to 7 houses on Ballard and Edmond Streets. The fire chief says it's not bird droppings, but it's hard to tell what it is.
There was a concern that it was a flammable liquid, and it wasn't. It's more of an ash-type consistency that has a little bit of, it seems to have an oily type consistency as well.
Some residents think it could have come from a plane since Selfridge Air National Guard Base is so close by. But Selfridge now says there's no indication this substance came from any type of military aircraft.
And heavy rains aren't enough to fill California's major reservoirs, which are still drier than usual after years of drought.
6 million square miles, most of it covered in ice. But last month, the top of the world was up to 14 degrees above normal and broke the record for the lowest amount of ice in February, more than 400,000 square miles short.
It's completely unprecedented. People who work up there, go up to the Arctic, go out on boats and cruise around to measure these things are absolutely stunned.
Robert Newton is an Arctic researcher at Columbia University.
It's the dead of winter there. There's no light. It's well below freezing. It should be locked in with ice all the way across, but the ice is significantly retreated even in wintertime.
The shrinking sea ice could have a potentially disastrous effect on animals, such as polar bears and seals, who depend on the ice to hunt and breed. Ice-free oceans absorb more heat and become warmer, which speeds up glacial melting, raising sea levels even more.
Ice is a great reflector of light, which is where most of the heat on the planet comes from. Open water is dark. It's a fantastic absorber.
Newton says changes in the Arctic can also affect weather here, causing storms and droughts to last longer and be more extreme.
Fascinating for a scientist, but scary for a person.
Scientists are both scientists and people, so we are both fascinated and frightened.
Is in progress through the plains, and it's going to push off to the east today. So that means for
is 5.1 and just last month a 4.8. Reputation for large quakes. It was
the biggest.
A wide area are also endangering boats and ships. Fiji is an archipelago of more than 300 low-lying islands prone to sea surges and flash flooding. This massive storm is slow-moving and likely to dump lots of rain on land, destroying crops. Water was already crashing over the sea wall in the capital Suva earlier in the day. Further along the coast of
the damage. He plans to have them publish a list of other areas that could face the same problem.
To be making a mark at the top of the world. Scientists say sea ice surrounding the Arctic Circle is melting much faster than first thought. The missing ice this winter is enough to cover California 3 times.
Made landfall in the central Philippines. Now, this storm is a very strong one, equivalent of a Category 4. It will weaken as it continues to move off to the west, but the country is bracing for some massive flooding and also landslides that they'll see in the next 24 to 48 hours. So